Hey guys, Kate here. Today I'm going to be talking about commissions. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for a really long time. So we're going to talk about commissions. Now, what do I mean by commissions? Okay, well, first of all, what is a commission? A commission is basically when you pay someone to do something for you. Whether that's make a fursuit, draw some art. A commission is not an art trade or a gift for someone or a request. It's none of those things. A request is when someone asks you to draw something and you do it for free. That's a request. A commission is when you pay someone. So, how do you go about taking commissions? Like, let's say you're an artist or you're just starting with art and you feel like you want to start taking commissions. How do you do all that? Well, I'm gonna tell you. I've been taking commissions off and on for about 10 years. First of all, you need a PayPal account. Several artists that have tried to go outside of PayPal, they try to use money through the mail, checks, money orders, like cashier's checks and that kind of thing. You can do it that way, but I recommend and I use PayPal. The biggest reason that I use PayPal is because it's all traceable. If you have any problems with your customers or artists, it tracks everything so you can see exactly what happened, what money went where, and you can keep track of it, and you can also get refunds, which I'll talk about in a second. So, what do you need to set up a PayPal account? A lot of young furries ask, like, what do you need to start a PayPal account? Like, is it free? Blah, blah, blah. And yes, it is free to start a PayPal account. However, you do need a bank account or a credit or debit card to open a PayPal account and actually be able to use it. If you are underage, you may need to have a parent open an account for you. Make sure you just explain, be honest, like, hey, I want to get money for my art and I was wondering if you could open an account for me because I don't have a bank account or whatever. Okay, so the next thing, once you have your PayPal account, charging people. You really want to think about your skill level, kind of look around and see what other people are charging for their stuff. That might be a good starting point. For example, if you just started drawing and you have like little to no experience drawing, you might want to charge like a couple cents, like 25 cents or $1. Like, start off small based on your skill level, and then you can work up to the bigger stuff. And ask for feedback. A lot of times people will tell you how much they want to pay for your stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of people want stuff for free too, so you also have to keep that in mind. But generally, if you ask for feedback, they're going to tell you. So the next step, going off of skill level, is you need to build a portfolio. A lot of times on Furry Amino specifically, I see a lot of people wanting to take commissions, but they only have like 1 or 2 examples of drawings that they've done. And usually, typically, people will not commission you if you only have like 2 pieces of art that are really good. So you want to build up a portfolio and do practice, sketches. You might even consider doing requests, gifts for people. Like, start out doing the free stuff and then work up to charging money for it, because you need practice to boost your skill level, like I said before. So build that portfolio, have a lot of examples that you can show people, and you'll have less of an issue. Another huge thing that I cannot stress enough is communication. One of my biggest pet peeves is communication. You can't just drop off the face of the earth. You have to maintain communication with your artist and with your customers. So it goes both ways. It's important both ways. If you commission someone, you need to communicate with them. If you're an artist and you have a customer, you need to communicate with them, because they can't read your mind. They don't know what's going on in your life right now. Like, you need to tell them. If it's taking a little more time than you thought, or you just can't get this one line right. Like, you just communicate. Don't just not say anything, because that looks bad. That's not a good business practice. I've had a lot of experience with people that I commission them and then they just like don't say anything for like 2 months. Like, where are you at? Did you steal my money? I don't know. How do I know you didn't? So it's really, really important that if you're having delays or whatever, like, you need to tell your customers, and vice versa. Just communicate. Something that also might save you in some cases is a contract. And what I mean by a contract is terms and conditions. You really need to have some type of terms and conditions. I have terms and conditions, but they're not very lengthy. They don't really need to be. But as long as the basics are covered and people know exactly what's going on, that's the most important thing. You both need to be on the same page. If you're not on the same page, it's not gonna go so well. So let's go back to PayPal. One thing that I love about PayPal and why I use it so much is because something goes wrong, you can get refunds. Now, unfortunately, I'm sure people abuse this to get free art. I'm not encouraging that. You should not do that. But if you have an issue and you absolutely cannot resolve it through Amino or whatever, like through messages, if you cannot resolve it, you can actually get refunds through PayPal if you open a case. If the artist or the seller is not responding to you, you can actually go through PayPal, tell them about it. It's better if you have proof, details about the transaction, and PayPal usually will back you up. So it's extremely important to be familiar with PayPal refund policies and PayPal processes, because that's going to help you save your butt when you're either taking commissions or you're commissioning someone else. So let's say you have your portfolio and you have your PayPal account and you have your terms and conditions and all that jazz. A lot of times people have trouble advertising their product, because that's what you're doing. You're selling a product, a service. Really, there is no wrong way to advertise, I would say. The biggest thing I could stress is consistency. Like, the more you advertise, the more often, the more places you put your work out, the more commissions you're gonna get. If you only post on DeviantArt, you're probably not gonna get that many commissions. If you post on Fur Affinity and Amino and DeviantArt and Facebook, then you're gonna get more traffic to your work. With that said, when you advertise your work, please, please, please put a watermark on your work. Don't post anything without a watermark. This is extremely important, because if you don't put watermarks on your work when you're advertising it, somebody could steal it. I haven't really had this happen to me, and I hope I never do, but it saves you a ton of grief when someone tries to steal your work. It makes it harder to steal it because your name is all over it. So I highly recommend watermarking your work. That could be a graphic over the drawing. It could be your signature across it, just so it kind of ruins the image a little bit. It'll make it a lot harder to steal, easier to track. You're just better off doing it. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is file types. When you've finished a commission, if it's not a traditional one, like let's say it's digital, you want to pay attention to what file type you're saving it as, because not everybody will be able to open the file if they don't have the right program. So one of the file types that I use a ton is PNG. A PNG is a file that is made to be viewed on a website or anything online, or a phone or a device or something like that. It is optimized for viewing on a digital device. A JPEG is a different type of file that is usually poorer quality, and it's mostly made for printing. So if, let's say, you made a badge and you wanted to print it, a PNG will work and you can print a PNG, but the colors are going to be a little bit different when it's printed out. If you save it as a JPEG, then it's more likely going to match your colors because it's made for that. So you might want to do some research on the differences between the two And also, you don't want to save your file as like a Photoshop document or a Fire Alpaca document, because the person that commissioned you might not have that program on their computer and they can't open it. So you want to save it as something that anybody can open. So that's about all I have for this video, guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask me. I have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff, so just, let me know if you need any help. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.